Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my November and December wrap up because I was unable to get to it last month. Last month was Christmas and then everything going on in the world, and then I just wasn't up to filming for a time. And then at the beginning of this year I got sick. It wasn't COVID, I'm fine. It was just like a simple cold, and I was over it within a week, but I was just so out of it, so tired. I didn't want to film, and now I'm kind of slowly getting back into the things, and I want to film, and I want to film all the videos I had in my mind because I planned so much out and I wanted to film, but I was not up to it. So I'm gonna try my best now to get those filmed and edited and hopefully up. It might carry into February a little bit, but we'll see how things go. And I might still be doing 2020 videos, the end of the year ones. But I am going to be starting off with my November wrap up and then go into the December. This might be a long video because I have a lot of books to talk about. So November I read a total of 6 books, and then in December I read 12. I was in a kind of a reading slump in November, and then December just happened to wanted to read a lot of books before the end of the year. So I'm going to start off with November. The first book I read was Cold as Ice by Allison Brennan. This one, I have talked about the series. This is the 17th, I believe, don't quote me on that, book in the Lucy Kincaid series, and I've already talked about that book so many times I don't feel like repeating it. But I just love this series. Even though it's super long, I think it's worth it. I love it. I love the characters. I love everything that's talked about. Everything that's talked about in here. There are trigger warnings, so if you do want to pick up this series, please look that up. The next book I read was The Bad Boy The Tomboy. I can't pronounce that last name. I'm not going to. I don't want to butcher it. Anyway, I have read this book when it was first published on Wattpad, like so many years ago. And I believe she did publish this too, like a few years ago, but she was self-published it. This one is published through the Wattpad Books Publishing, I believe, and so it got a new cover. It's like a rebrand. And this brought back so many memories. I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. It is just a good, young adult romance book. I loved it. The next book I don't physically own. I listened to the audiobook, and that is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. And I read that for the show that was coming out on Netflix last month. I have yet to continue with the series, but I really do want to because I really loved it. And I have watched the series, and it is so amazing. I love it, and I can't wait for the second season. So yeah, I hope to continue that this year. The next book I read was Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. This was a disappointment. It's freaking huge, and they made the book taller than the other ones and smaller fonts so that way it can be so big, and I feel like it was unnecessary. It didn't have to be this long. It could have totally been cut and still been really good. I felt like it was really repetitive, and really repetitive, and a lot of stuff, we get it. We didn't really need it to be told over and over and over, especially because it isn't Edward's point of view. A lot of the stuff that he was thinking was really repetitive, and I just didn't like it, and it didn't need to be that way. So I mean, I did like some aspects of it because you saw a little bit more from the original that wasn't really told in there, and then you saw more of the Cullen family, and I really appreciated that aspect. I really liked that, but there was it needed more of a balance between the good stuff and then the repetitive. It could have been totally cut out and it still would have been really good. The next book I read was my book of the month pick, These Violin Delights by Chloe Gong. This one was really good. As you can see, I tabbed it so much, and I believe I gave this one around a 4-star because I really did like this, but at some points I felt like the pacing was kind of off. It was kind of slow going at some points, which I mean sometimes isn't bad, but I felt like I don't know, it just felt a little off with the pacing, so I did knock down a star for that. But I did really enjoy the storyline, the characters, I really recommend checking this out because it's just so good. I really enjoyed this one, and I can't wait for the second one that I supposedly coming out this year. So I'm looking forward to that. And the last and final book I read in November was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is my first time reading this series, and it was for that readathon that Mel Reads was doing. I did start earlier. I think this was start last month in December, but I read this one in November. Well, I was actually about like maybe this far into it when I put it down like a few months ago, and then like when I heard about the readathon, I was like, maybe that's like a good time to pick it up. So I decided to pick it up and finish it, and I finished it. So I did like it. I really did. I then read the rest of the series, and I kind of had a feeling because I've been kind of spoiled for it in the past. Not fully, because I know people have referenced to Sarah J. Maas saying that like she makes you think like one person is like the love interest, and then like the next thing you know is someone else. So I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to go about that. So I did like Tamlin in the first one. I know everyone's gonna hate me, but I did like him in the first one because I've never read this series before, so I didn't know how things were gonna go. But then, yeah, I think you get the gist if you know what I'm talking about. That was a short-lived. But anyway, I did enjoy this. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but I did enjoy it, so I'm glad I continued because I love the series now. So that is all the books I read in November. The next is going to be books I read in December. December was the most books I read. The first book I read was actually a reread, and I like reread this book every time this time of the year because I just love it. And that is Pride, Prejudice, and Mistletoe by Melissa de la Cruz. This one is a movie on Hallmark Channel. Now me and my mom are obsessed with Hallmark Channel, especially during Christmas time. We love the Christmas movies. And they made this one, and kind of wish they didn't, because like this book is more of like an adult book, and Hallmark is a family station, and the book wasn't good adaptation for that because there is cussing in here, and she's supposed to be like not liked really, but on the Hallmark one, of course, there's no cussing or stuff like that, and they made her like a little bit nicer. And I'm like, she wasn't like that in the book. So I did like the movie, but I love this book. And I don't compare that because I just don't see them on the same level. This book is really good. I just like it. I like the, you know, the banter. I do like the main character, even though she is supposed to be like one that you're not supposed to like, but I do like her. So the next is I continued on with the series I talked about in November. So I read A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is the second one. This one's my favorite in the series, and I know that it's a lot of people's favorite. I believe for good reason. It's so good. It's huge, but it's so good. I love it. I had to get these new edition hardcover because I just really do like them. I like them better than the paperback, and that means I read the third one right after, A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This one's really pretty. I like that pink. And I did like this one. I still really like the second one the most. So, but I really did love the series. After I finished the third one, I went on to the fourth one, which is technically, I guess they call it like, it's like a novella because it's like kind of really short, and it's just like kind of where they're at afterwards before the fifth one comes out next month, and that one's Nesta's story. This is another probably one that people don't agree on, but I didn't really like Nesta. I mean, I get her character, and I can see where the character can grow and all, but she was just so annoying to me. I didn't like her because like the way she treated Feyre, I'm like, dude, like Feyre like did so much for you and everything, and this is how you're gonna treat her? Like, I have an older sister. Like, we're kind of far apart. We're 16 years apart, so that's kind of a big age gap, and I didn't really get along with her when I was younger, but that's because like I didn't really grow up with her. I grew up more with my brother, and we're only 3 years apart, but me and my sister are really close now, and I love her, but like, I don't know, I just I hate, I'm sorry, Nesto is so annoying. I do kind of like her now because I can't, at the end of the third one, she just, no, at the end of the fourth one, the novella, she just like really got me so annoyed, and I just didn't like her. So I hope I start liking her in her book, the fifth one. I can't talk right now. The fifth one, because it's from her perspective, it's Nesta's story. I love Cassian, but Nesta was so annoying. I hope she grows on me, but yeah, I didn't really like her, and I didn't like the way she treated Feyre. So, end of story. I'm gonna stop right there. After that was Monstrous Volume 1. I picked this up because I keep on seeing this everywhere. I've heard good things about it, and I've heard that the art style is really pretty, which it is. It's so, like, I don't know, like, I've heard of it like steampunk, and I see that. I really enjoyed this, and hopefully I can pick up the rest of the volumes and continue on. My battery is flashing, so I hope I can finish this before. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. My camera battery died, so I didn't get a chance to really charge it, so I'm gonna hurry up and go through these. The next book I read was a reread, and that is The Indigo Spell by Rochelle Mead. This is part of the Bloodline series, which is the spin-off to the Vampire Academy series. I really love this series. I think I actually like this one a little bit more than the Vampire Academy series. I just love Adrian so much, and I love Sydney too. But I did read this because I want to reread them and annotate them, which I did. So I read this one. The next book I read came out, I believe, at the beginning of December, but I didn't read it until like near the end of December, and that is Stay With Me by Jessica Consolo. This one's also to another Wattpad book, and I did read this series on Wattpad, and it's finally coming out, physical book, and I just love rereading it because I don't think I finished the series on Wattpad because it started coming out, so it's like I just read it there. I don't think it's even finished on Wattpad, I think, but anyway, yeah, really love this series so much. It has a lot to it, even though it is like, I don't know how to explain it, but it is really good. I love it, and I would totally recommend. Even if you're not a big fan of like Wattpad books, this isn't as cringy. I feel like maybe some aspects, but not all, and I love the friendship. Next book I read in December was another audiobook, so I don't own it, and it was called Memento. It was a novella for the Illuminate files. I saw it on my Libby account, so I decided to check it out, and it was actually really good. It was kind of like, it shows you how Aiden became Aiden in the Illuminate files, like what kind of led to him doing all that he did. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Aiden, even though he wasn't the best, but I still loved him. And this really shows you kind of like how he got that, how he thought, and then how that led to like the Illuminate files. So it was really good, and it was short, so I loved it. Next book I read was In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. This is my book of the month pick for December, and at first I didn't really like where it was going, but I actually did end up liking this. I think I gave it like around a 4-star. It was just like a cute, fun holiday romance read, and I just enjoyed it. It was something fun to read. Next book I read was another audiobook. I don't have it. It's called The Snow Queen. I think it's by right here, I forgot the author, but yeah, it was just like short stories of like these fairy tale stories. I don't know too much, I don't know how to explain it too much, but it was just like a cute read. It was more for like younger readers, like maybe like you know, middle grade level, but it was just really cute and fast read, so I enjoyed it. Next book that I read was Dissolving Classroom by Junji Ito. This one is just manga of, well, he's a horror manga, and this one is just like a short stories. It says it's a pair of twisted siblings. They cause all sorts of tragic and terrifying things to happen wherever they go. So this is short stories of the two terrifying siblings causing tragedy, causing terrific things to happen everywhere they go. So each story, they are somewhere different, and they cause chaos and mayhem, and then they move on to a new place, and then that's the new story of wherever they are now, causing all that again. So It's actually pretty creepy but interesting, so I really like this one and enjoyed it. The last book I read in December was Parlene. I am obsessed with Harley Quinn. I love Harley Quinn so much, and this one is the graphic novel of basically how like she fell in love with the Joker, like, you know, her story when she was like a psychiatrist and Joker was the patient. And this book is just so pretty. Like, look at this. And then like without those end pages too, but without the dust jacket, look at that, gorgeous. And then the back, gorgeous. And the art style too, gorgeous. Like, I just loved it so much. And this is basically a bind up of 3 like volumes all in one, and I absolutely loved it. So that was all the books I read in November and December. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you've read any of these books, please comment down below what you thought of them. Please like and subscribe, and I will be seeing you guys next time. Bye.